Hello, everyone, and welcome to the bonfire. Today is May the 7th, year 2021. Here is Andy, and finally, we are here with a teacher's broadcast, which I called also Teacher's Lodge. And on this lodge, we have four wonderful specialists, highly qualified ESL teachers, and I think now let them introduce themselves. And the first to be introduced, I think, is Sophie. Could you please tell us about yourself?
Yeah, hi Andy, hi everyone. So my name is Sophie. I'm an English and German teacher. Sometimes I even teach German English literature. German language literature. So I've been teaching English and other foreign languages, namely German, for more than 7 years. So I've done this in Preston, St. Petersburg, and I've explored different formats, offline, online teaching. So I find it all tremendously interesting. I love meeting like-minded teachers. And I think I'll surely enjoy this meeting. So.
Well, that promises to be very enjoyable. So thank you very much. Oля?
Okay, hello everyone. Well, I'm a teacher of English. I can also speak German, in fact, and at some point of my life, I worked with the German language only, and so I haven't been teaching English like all my life. Right after my graduation, I taught it for some years. Then I had breaks and a change of profession. But then now, well, oh, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
I'm sorry. I thought I had a glitch or something. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I returned to teaching English, and now I teach English online, so only, which allows me to travel as well, which I enjoy a lot. So,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you. Vika, what about you?
Hello everyone, I'm English teacher as everybody here. I also teach French, but I barely actually teach French. Most of my students are teenagers or children, and I barely lead any online classes. Maybe offline is better for me now because I like seeing people and just the chance of hug them is just adorable. So yeah.
Thank you. And the final person, Kirill?
Okay. Hi, lads and lasses. I'm an English teacher, and I'm the least talented here as I teach only English. No German, no French, just English. What can I
Pardon
say?
yourself.
No, I'm just being fair. And also, you didn't have a chance to hear it, but also being stupid today. So cut me some slack, please. I mean, I'm addressing the spectators. Well, what else can I say? Between dogs and cats, I would choose monkeys. So I guess that's the most important info for you out there.
That's a random fact session now. Those who have been to my English club, they probably remember this tradition of random fact telling when you start a meeting. Then we had this circle, and each person had to tell something about himself or herself and something that made you happy and so on. So random fact it was.
My.
Well,
I had to start with I love geranium, but okay.
Well, we don't have to make it a random fact session. I think it's. I have another idea, and I also wanted to confess that Kirill, the only stupid person here is me, because as probably you saw, there was a a notification on the stream that the conference was going to finish in 8 minutes. So what happened was, while you were introducing yourself, I just bought a subscription for Zoom for 1 month because I had completely forgotten about Zoom's policy, and it's just that I got used to streaming one-to-one with Zoom, which is not charged, and I was completely relaxed because Google Meet doesn't charge anything and Discord doesn't charge anything, Zoom does. And well, now it's not a problem anymore. We are fine. I'm very thankful to Zoom engineers that it's possible to stay on one call without like having to create a new one. That was really cool. Like, did you see that change of?
Yeah, you did that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I wanted to address that actually, but then I see, whoa, problem solved.
Yes, I was. That was pretty much stressful, but we are good now. Yeah. What I'd like to begin with is, as we are all teachers here, and we probably have some kind of insights on a weekly basis. I mean, we probably have some outstanding cases with our students that teach us something or show us some truth that we didn't see before. I suggest that we have some kind of an exchange of, let's call it lessons we have learned from our students in the last month or week, like something you hadn't considered before that happened. And I don't know if you immediately have something to tell, so I'll give you time by telling my story, which isn't going to be something special, but still. I have a lot of presumptions as a teacher. Like, I presume a lot. And that makes me stressed all the time because I'm constantly thinking, like, if people hate me, if my students want to leave me already, or if I like piss them off already, and then I'm like trying to, to construct this house of allegations against myself, and like, am I actually asking too many questions, or am I talking too much, or am I not talking enough, or am I explaining grammar properly, or like, do they want to teach the strategy completely and I failed to see that, and so on and so forth. And so I was interviewing a pair of students who actually initiated our lessons. We used to work with them before, then I resigned from the English school where I worked, and they came back to me after 4 months and 5 months, and then we were talking, and I was like, well, you know what? I want to be less abstract now. I want to be more disciplined. I want to be more like consistent with my policy, as I think I used to be too vague as a teacher. I was more of a conversationalist, and I talked a lot with students during lessons. I mean, I exactly followed this speaking pattern with less grammar and so on. And so trying to eliminate that, I wanted to give everyone a student's book to follow, or a grammar book to follow, or just a book to follow. And so I told this pair of students, like, I'm going to go completely non-abstract and disciplined. And my student, one of them, was like very sad, and she's a teacher herself. She said, but I loved abstract conversations, and I actually need them for my clients. I need them to practice English because I have clients who speak English. I need to be exactly flexible to respond to changing topics and unexpected twists in our chats. And so I need abstract teaching style actually. And I was like, oh, I didn't see it coming. So, and that made me question myself again, why am I presuming so much? Like, nobody, or like, it happens very seldom that students actually tell me, like, let's change this because I don't like it, or I'm not sure it's working. The only person who is complaining is myself. Like, I'm constantly complaining about myself in my head. And that case kind of showed me that, well, probably shouldn't be doing that as much, and I should be instead asking a lot of questions to get permanent feedback, maybe on a monthly basis, maybe even on weekly basis. And so that was my insight. And now I'd like to know if you had some insights in some recent weeks.
And what I actually have a follow-up question. So how did you solve this situation, this problem, so-called?
problem with
Well, not a problem, but when she said, so I'd like to continue this way, so did you decide to continue, well, or to change, or how did it go?
That was the initial interview, so it was before the lessons even started, and I just said, okay, I was wrong in my expectations of your expectations, and I just changed the tactic. I mean, I still think that there has to be some system, of course, but just the person clearly stated, I need abstract conversations, I need flexible conversations, and I said, okay, of course, let's go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And how does that relate to your other students? Do you follow the same tactic of being abstract and being, fluent, vague?
I think it's acceptable to be fluent and vague, just vague and abstract if it is a conscious tactic, like if you have chosen it officially, if you have discussed it. It's not because you're exhausted, not because you don't know what to do. It's if it is your official path that you have discussed and you still understand why it is necessary. Because I still, like, later I came back to this point and said to those students that we have to have some kind of input anyway, because you can't just talk without any additional challenges, additional materials to be brought to our lessons, because I need to grow. I think it's more about the proportion, like you're listening to the feedback and then you're tweaking the proportion of speaking, grammar, vocabulary, and so on.
I guess I could pick up on this idea, because actually I've had just absolutely similar case. I have one student. Well, usually I work with like intermediate, upper intermediate, and advanced students, and one of them was similar. It was obviously confounded by my approach. So I used to be a really classy sort of teacher. So. Adherent of a communicative approach, where there should be a warm-up, some listening, some exercise, and so on and so forth. You get used to this sort of style. And then there was this person who said, well, Sophie, I don't really need it. Let's just chat. Yes, so let's just have these conversations, about any topic that you'd like to come up with. And we've discussed the topic that we want to discuss during our classes. I collected some materials, but the thing that I am noticing, at present, is that learners, not only my learners, I guess, an average learner, wants to have ripened confidence in sort of ownership of their learning, ownership over what is happening in class. And so at some moments, it is becoming not manageable. It might become, not manageable. So you need to adopt probably some realistic perspective, and be very flexible. As for me, on one hand, it's a challenge, certainly, because you have to say goodbye to some of your, visions, of what teaching is like. But at the same time, it enriches your weaponry, teaching weaponry, I don't know.
Hey, well, I have already two questions. Well, one to Indy, but actually one to you, Sophia. So can you expand on this idea of ownership of a lesson, or of what do you mean by this?
Actually, it's some collocation expression that I've read in an article. It's not a recent one, an article by Nick Peachy. Probably Nick Peachy or Pritchy. So it was called the edification of online ELT. And there he discusses the trend of online platforms, where you don't actually need a teacher, yes, and so this expression comes from that. So no one has to facilitate this progress. You just have a platform, you buy some packages of lessons there, and that's it. And what I understand as this ownership, it's when each student can discuss the contents, probably the planned syllabus of all the classes, some points that will be emphasized during classes and so on. So it's not only the teacher who comes to the classroom and says, okay, today we're doing this. Full stop.
Yeah, that's right. So is it about student-centered lessons, student-centered lessons? So
Dogby, student-centered, education. But at the same time, why? Like it amazes me that nobody actually speaks about teacher-centered education. So we usually place our students, in foreground.
Yeah, that's right. Well, individual approach and stuff like that. So I think education used to be teacher-centered for a long time.
Oh, okay. So what I mean is that teacher-centered education, as I meant it, is more of placing the needs of teachers, not only like orders teachers give, but putting some, giving some attention to teachers' needs too. For example, their salaries, how many hours they sleep, and so on.
Yeah.
How are teachers comfortable with the formats, with materials, and so on?
That's what you mean by saying teachers.
Yeah.
Teaching, lessons. That's right.
Okay, so I think we have uncovered like leads to two topics. One is what should be centered, and just this student-centered classroom topic, and the shift from this paradigm of teacher is the authority to student is the authority, and do we need teachers at all? Happy birthday, I guess.
I just noticed.
Yeah,
That's pizza.
that's pizza.
Why do you have
Whoa.
a piece of pizza on your head? Why?
I like pizza. I guess there's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry. I will not. I won't do that again.
Please do that. Please do that. That is nice. That's exactly what we need. And I saw was it Bloomberg or some the Guardian mass media? There was an article about Tinder, like that pizza is the biggest cliche to mention in your description, like that everyone loves pizza and people should stop saying that. And I was like, do we actually have to use mass media to talk about Tinder and pizza there? Like there is a lot of issues happening in the world, the pandemic, and they're talking about Tinder and pizza. And so back to the point. Student-centered classroom and the necessity of a teacher. And the second one is, I think, online education also. There is a lead to there. And teachers' exhaustion, teachers' stress, protection, and so on and so forth, which is actually the third lead. Let's keep them for now and just proceed with insights. So Sophie, that was your insight that resembles mine, I guess, as you said. Ola, did you have an insight in the recent weeks?
Well, no, in the recent weeks, actually not. Well, in autumn, I had a child. The thing is, before returning to teaching English and teaching English online, I've been working in a kindergarten, Montessori type, as an
Ooh.
English teacher. So I was working with kids actually, okay? And
Mhm.
well, I didn't want to teach them. I just wanted to speak English. And well, back then I was tired of teaching English, but well, because they didn't take me just as a teacher, uh, just as a kindergarten teacher, while speaking Russian and just take care of the kids. Because I don't have qualifications for that, so they said, okay, you speak English, well, be our English speaking kindergarten teacher. I said, okay. So it's about what to cut the long story short. Well, after 3 years working there, I thought I was okay.
3 years in a Montessori kindergarten.
Yeah, that's right. It was 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been teaching English for a long time, actually. Well, so and
Impressive.
yeah, and well, I thought that actually I could do that. Yeah, I could teach kids. Why not? But then, and I started, and I had some kids, and very often I realized that no, actually, I really prefer adults. Yeah, I'm also much into talking, into discussing things and stuff and complicated topics and blah blah blah, and just talk about life. And with kids you can't do this. And then I had this child, and every time before the class I had this terrible feeling um, of not wanting to to open my computer to have this class with him. And I think, do you see what I mean? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Just I don't want.
Probably this was some sort of enervating person. Yes, I'm not
Well,
annoying.
he was okay. Yeah, he was okay. Well, it was a boy, 7 years old. Yeah, with his legs and arms everywhere. Yeah, he was that too. But I could understand that. I didn't have a problem with that, you know. But there was something wrong about our classes. Well, it's not hated. I didn't. I wouldn't put it this way. But like I didn't want those classes. I was every time I was like, okay, I can do it like this. Yeah. And well, at some point, well, I was thinking about this, and I came to conclusion, well, no, I just don't want to have this life. Yeah, I want my life to be comfortable. Yeah, so I don't want to have these bad feelings about my classes, and I don't want to have bad days. Like, okay, on Tuesday I have this student. Oh, okay, well, I can roll with this. I can do it, and then it will be evening, and so I'll forget about this. So, and what I had to do, I had to say no, actually, and they didn't really get it. In fact, so I think the mom didn't really get it, though. I think I put it nicely. I said, well, it just doesn't go well somehow. Well, I said something else, and I made some suggestions where they could continue their education, where they could go maybe to some group, because he's so active. Yeah, he needs interaction. It was online also. It was very difficult for him to do it online. So 40 minutes online, it was pretty tough for him. Yeah, but I was so happy after I'd done this. Yeah, I think I made my life more comfortable, you know.
So the insight is that sometimes you have to say no to a student who
That's right.
makes your life difficult.
That's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Just yeah. I think we've all had such classes or such groups.
Mhm.
Challenging, difficult. You really don't know what's going on. You can't figure out. Is it about you? Who is it about? Yeah. Who's to blame? Probably nobody. But so do you have to tolerate it like endlessly? I don't think so. Well, of course, if there is, if it's your responsibility, there is, it could be your responsibility. Yeah, if you're working for a school, for a language school, and you have this group, so for 1 year, for example, Yeah, I think it's a bit more difficult. If it's an individual student, it's easier, of course. Mhm.
That's the fourth
Well,
topic to discuss. Yes, Sophie?
Yeah, the thing is that like there is this proverb for saying it, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So it's like if at first you haven't managed to succeed, yes. So we as teachers, we try and try and try again till we just exhaust ourselves. So probably we sometimes need to give up and say bye. Yeah. So it's okay.
yeah.
I think I was listening to this lecture by Olga Filatova. I think she's
Yeah.
she's in the Czech Republic now, but she's
Mhm.
Russian. I actually don't know her origin, so not the point. She was
Belarusia. She comes from Belarus.
Okay, I see. Thank you for that. Is important to clarify. So she said that it's important that it's essential that you have done everything you could, like that you have fulfilled all the possible responsibilities and duties towards this student. And then if you see that it's not going anywhere still, then probably you just have to resign because, well, there are lots of students and lots of teachers who can match better, and you don't have to torture yourself like that. I'm simplifying the point, but still.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Well, let's proceed. Vika, what about your insight?
Okay, so Olga reminded me my torture in language school. With these kids, we didn't really sit together. I mean, like, I always looked at this, like other teachers and their groups, and it seemed like they managed it so well. But I didn't really know how to manage these groups, and they were just, everything was not under control, like everything was a mess. Like I had this, the kids, they weren't many, like I took them in one class, but I don't know, it just like one kid was under the chair, another one was on the chair, another one was like switching the the lights, and I was like, and I wasn't allowed to talk Russian, and I was only shouting something in English. It didn't make any sense. They was like, what the hell was she talking about? All right. And it made me quit. And it was the best decision I ever had in my life. I started to lead only individuals lesson. This is just not my format. This is not my way of teaching. I don't want to fight for like, I am the best. I can do anything I can. And just because I'm a teacher, no, I'm individual myself. And well, I can't, like, this is not my way. So that's it. I made my life easier. Now I work only with individuals. And yeah, I still work with kids, but it's much better for me to work like that. Yeah.
And how did you quit then? Did you quit at the end of the year? I mean, or just in the middle of it?
Yeah, actually, it was like a year ago. I also had to lead some online because of, you know, the situation. I had to lead online classes, which was even more impossible for me because, like, if you in class, you can like control them in some way, but online, this wasn't even possible. Like one, she goes to the toilet, another one, she just plays the guitar, and you're like, no, it was impossible. I don't know. Yeah, and I said like, that's it. Like, I cannot do it anymore. Like, thanks, but yeah, but not.
So actually, you didn't finish the course. You didn't finish the course, yeah? Just in the middle of the course, you said, Well,
No, it was summer. Actually, it was summer. Yeah, like we were talking about next year, and actually they didn't want to give me like the same the same amount of groups. They could say like, we give you some, and I said no thanks.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because they see that it's like I cannot control all this mess, and I also saw like this was just torture.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so I understand you.
When Vika was talking about being a teacher doesn't mean that you are universal, like that you are an absolute unit, that you can universally do everything. I saw Sophie very passionately nodding because she has an article on that. What was that called?
So probably about being adequate. So,
Like you have to pick your battles. Like you have to present yourself as a teacher of some kind of area of expertise in within our industry. Not like that I can teach beginners and proficiency students and so on.
Oh yes, yes, or yes, it was an article called "Недостаточно хороша." So,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, you can't be totally, absolutely apt for all groups of students. So, I see two situations, two scenarios that teachers try to emulate, try to pick up. First scenario, for example, I am, I don't know, I train people for Cambridge exams. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, or I train people to write, for example, CAE articles or letters or write. So they just speak it very strictly. And there are some other teachers who prefer to teach just everyone. Yes. So, oh, I'm afraid I won't make it. I'm afraid I'll be broke soon. I need more students. And so they take just everyone. I think we need to find some golden mean. For me, this golden mean is like T skill model. It's like you are a professional, yeah. You are deeply you're well qualified, yeah, well suited for one thing, but you can also do some adjacent, yeah, areas. For example, I can help people take and pass Cambridge exams, and at the same time, I can help them master intermediate level. Yeah, let's say so.
But I just think that teaching is a marathon, and so like you could sprint for 1 month or two, being absolutely like fit in any possible category and so on, but like after 2 months you'll be burnt out. You will give, well, what kind of service in this condition, and then you will just get off the race, and that's it.
That's exactly what I'm going through now. As I'm a university tutor, I also work for one private school, and I also run my own classes. And so I usually get more than 40 hours of just teaching without preparation, without everything else. And I'm supposed to say, hello, yeah, just very positive. And people are used to seeing me this way. So it's
I agree with Kirill. It's absolutely astounding. 40 hours of teaching, not to mention everything else. It's hardcore.
Why? Then why? Why are you doing this to you? Well,
it's a sort of
Classics.
personal.
Classical question.
Yes, question. But well, it's just let's make it vague. Yeah, just to get more freedom in the future. Yeah, it's just for the sake of future. I don't think that I am able to run this marathon. Yeah, up to the end. So. And I'm also a perfectionist. So recently I started giving lessons with the help of ProgressMe. Yeah, so this linguistic platform, and it actually takes hours and hours to make up lessons there. So as for a CPE preparation, for example, to compile one class, like one unit there, let's say. So it takes me 8 hours.
Oh, goodness.
Apart from teaching and so on. It is.
Oh, it's like the whole day. When do you sleep?
Yeah. So I don't know. Also a good question. So it pays. It pays to compile such information, because such classes, because you can recycle them. Yeah. If you have similar clients with similar needs. Yeah. But still. Okay. Now we are talking about perfectionism.
Good topic. It is a good topic.
It is.
Yeah. Kirill, do you mind sharing your insight?
Well, I can say that the stories that I've heard, they resonate me. I mean, the cases, also the situations where I had to say no to my students. So I had such cases too, and especially classes with kids. Yeah, I used to teach 2-year-olds. You can imagine how
Oh my goodness.
how terrible that was.
Was it online?
No, that was in person.
Oh my.
Well,
Yeah.
things happen,
Actually, I had to deal with situations where kids said something like, "I want to go pee pee."
Of course, 2-year-olds. What do you want?
I didn't want anything. I didn't want to do anything with pee pee.
The only thing they need, the only thing you can do with 2-year-olds is just babysit them. You just babysit them, and speak English. That's what I was doing 3 years in Montessori.
And I had no, I had no preparation, special preparation prior. Like I didn't go through any young learners courses or anything. I was just, how to say, thrown there in the midst of these, babies. Yeah, we can say that would be fair to say babies. But an insight, something recent. I think that's more of a personal one. I realized that I am old now because probably about a week ago, I had a lesson with one of my students who is 12, and he shared his, he suggested his idea of buying an issue of manga, and he asked my advice on it. Like, what should I buy? The Death Note or something like Tokyo Ghoul, I guess. So which are,
both
rated for mature audience, with gore and violence and sexual content. And I tried to convince him that he didn't need to buy any of those things. And at that moment, I realized that when I was his age, I actually did the same things. I read the same stuff, well, similar stuff, not the same per se. So yeah, that's when that's the moment when I realized that I'm old now. I'm like this father figure.
About
there it is.
About children, yeah, it's like it's not exactly about teaching. I think it's more about parenting. That I sometimes look at what children do in the street, like climbing some places and running like hell, and remembering what I did as a child, jumping from like garages, and I mean like climbing construction sites, and you can imagine like throwing explosives into a bonfire just to see how they will boom, and like
I did the same thing.
Yeah, so now thinking like if I had a child and this child would do the same, I would go like my hair would go gray immediately. I think I would just like die with a heart attack. I mean, I don't know. it's so hard to imagine that it's actually possible that somebody will be doing that and you'll be potentially responsible for that. And at the same time, it's not even about responsibility, it's about kind of empathy. Like you're worried as hell about that being that's trying to actively eliminate himself or herself with full engagement in this process. And it's just like, no, I'm so glad that we don't have these construction sites anymore around. But that's like I guess a topic for a parents podcast. We probably shall meet at different circumstances with this case. So
Let's meet in 10
Oh,
years at least.
Sophie, yes, you have
sorry.
something to say.
If I think what you are saying is, well, it implies, sorry, it is connected to teaching, yes? So it is like inherent part of teaching. So, for example, throughout this academic year, I've been feeling that I'm becoming sort of mother to my students, because after 7 years in this profession, you see how many times you fall prey for different prejudices, for different misconceptions about learning English, about mastering English, and so on. And I'm afraid that a lot of my students, they are perfectionists, and they are always faced with this inner critic, sitting there. And I sometimes feel as a mother or as a psychologist or as an elder sister, and I want to say, please don't worry about this. It's totally all right. It's okay to feel that you are sometimes not as confident as you wanted to sound in English or something like this. Yeah. So just don't think about what other people would think about your speaking. Yeah. Just go on, go with the floor, continue trying, and so on. It's like about mothering, I guess, or sistering them, but yeah, it's important, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not just about taking them out from trees.
Well, I think it is healthy. At least it's evolutionary, biologically healthy to take up this responsibility over younger specimen of your like of your kind, of your kin. And I'm actually surprised to discover that in myself, but that's a pleasant discovery. Yes.
Yeah. Well, in case we do not overdo it. So.
Well, that's why they're so revolutionary and we are so conservative. At least the tendency is like to outbalance each other, I guess. I had a question which has been troubling me for some time. I don't know if you know the answer, but I get an impression that the majority of teachers I know are kind of more like they always want to teach adults and they very rarely want to teach teenagers or children. And that is what I feel. Not that I don't like teaching teenagers or children, it's just that I don't do that, and I haven't done this for a long time. It's just a like historical fact. I just happen to be teaching adults for a long time, and that continues. And I think rationally I just cannot do that because it's out of my competence, and as we discussed, I have to prioritize. And at the same time, I understand that I'm quite a heavy person, and I like really easily engage into some philosophical talks and psychology and something more sophisticated, which is probably more conducive to teaching adults, not children. And not that I can do my best with children and teenagers. They need somebody more cheerful, maybe more. I don't know. That's a complex thing to tell in a minute. So the question was, do you have the same impression that the majority of teachers want to work with adults only, or it's or my vision is lopsided, is distorted by
Well,
uh-huh.
so well, among us there is a person, Victoria, who works with the teenagers, she said, and with kids.
Yeah.
So we should, like at least one. So it's different. And I also personally know people who just prefer to teach kids and teenagers. As for me, I like teaching teenagers, actually, old teenagers, not young teenagers. So starting from the age of 15, 16, 17, and so on. So they're interesting for me, actually. Yeah, I get this energy from them, and so I learn many different things about the world, actually, how they see it, and technologies and stuff like this, slang and music and so on. Yeah, but I rarely teach them. Yeah.
So you're one for teenagers and adults, and like you
Adults,
enjoy
right.
both
Teenagers.
processes.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Well, that's a relief to hear. And hello, Kirill. We have a new guest on our chat. You're welcome. Please ask questions if you have any. And let's proceed with the topic. So, who would like to?
You know,
follow
I
up?
have a feeling that an average teacher, they would take as a student probably anyone just for the sake of money and the the need to earn for a living. And oftentimes they don't have this, how to say this? Well, they don't have a say in it, whom to teach or not. They take whoever they find.
Yeah.
Well, that's my feeling. Personally, I love teaching everybody. I mean, not the kids that I mentioned, not those kids, not as young as those who I mentioned before, but starting at from the age of 7, I guess, or 6 even. Yeah, I had such cases. I actually, have quite some fun with them.
There are some really lovely things about teaching teenagers, yeah, apart from those that have already been mentioned. So they always have this sense of discovery. Yes, everything is, they start anew every lesson. Yeah, they really learn something. They really discover something. When we talk about, for example, high levels, there is nothing actually that they can learn that will break their worldview. Yeah, that will shatter their worldview. They just hone their skills. Yeah, so it's very difficult to surprise some adult learner. Yeah, especially of high level. But it's absolutely different with teenagers.
So that means that I shouldn't feel too bad about being so oriented, let's say, like, because I always feel that there is something wrong with myself, like that I only specialize on adults, and I think, well, who will then teach teenagers? And well, if I mean, everyone I hear is saying that, like, I prefer adults, and probably just that I was talking to a coincidental number of people who just preferred that, and there is a decent amount to back up teenagers and babies.
I think that's nothing wrong in choosing just one niche, there's nothing wrong to have any preferences, right? So why do you want to teach everybody? So it has no sense. So that's okay. Nothing is wrong with you. That's fine.
Thanks. That really relieved me. Do we? I think we should come back now. Not come back, but proceed to some questions that we were planning to have for our stream, and I think I had quite a pool of questions, and then Kirill had a question or a suggestion for a discussion, which was how a teacher can develop him or herself, in what ways, and I think that's quite a huge question. I might elaborate a bit. So when you are like on this edge or just somewhere between C1, C2, C1 or C2 exactly, and you've pretty much mastered English as a functional instrument, and you have plenty of students of different levels, and you've potentially got this education as a teacher or as a translator, as an interpreter, and then you have a couple of certificates of like CELTA, TEFL, standard, and so on and so forth. Where should you move on? Or like just when you start your career, I don't know, like I think it's a very personal question. It's connected to what you see as development. And so what is your vision of your development and just teachers' development? I hope I put it properly, this question. Was it the one that you wanted to explore, Kirill? This,
Yeah, more or less.
Maybe you want to add something more precise here to specify the direction.
I also had in mind this, the question of balance between your own work and, I mean, teaching, the teaching itself, and your work as a learner of English and a learner of teaching English at the same time. So I had this question of balance in mind. How to connect these two things, or how to find time for everything, to grow as a professional and also to be able to do your duty as a current teacher well.
I want to drop my commentary here then. When asked this question, how much do you work? I'm always puzzled what to say, like what is work in case of a teacher? Because that's such a vague profession, and like, let's say if my students are quite engaged in conversations about psychology, and in my free time I'm listening to lectures on YouTube about psychology or some audiobooks. And so is this work? Is this preparation actually? What if it is what if it coincides with my own interest? So it's basically my own fun, but it's also learning. It's also a challenge because well, that's really complex language and stuff. And can we qualify that as work? Such podcasts where we are actually discussing some issues with other colleagues and trying to share opinions and so on. Is this work? Is this actually part of our profession? So it's very hard to, like Sophie with her exploration of resources and this 8 hours session with setting up a lesson. So what do you think?
If you're asking me?
That was a question to everyone, but you might pick up the...
Okay, well, I think I have much to say about this. So the thing is that, you made it very clearly. So what should we consider work? So there are some visible hours, and they are our classwork. But at the same time, we also have some invisible hours of teaching. They go for preparation. Yeah, they go for example, listening to different podcasts, but actually it's essential. If you call yourself a conversationalist, you need some food for thought, right? You need some food for this discussion, yes. And so you need to explore some topics yourself. You need to keep abreast of different news, of things going on in different areas. And as for me, I've come to the conclusion that I just can't swallow it all. Like I can't get registered for all courses that are available now, and it's a whole new market. So there is always some sort of hype around CPD courses. Please stay with us. Do our course, or you won't be a real professional. They don't say it directly, but you always feel it. And as for me, I now know my sort of weak points, and they are not actually about teaching, they are more like psychological things. Yeah. So for example, I do fight with my perfectionist syndrome and maybe self-esteem issues. Yeah. And so this is what I'm working on now. I try to get rid of such stuff. Actually, today I've enrolled on a course which is called like Raise Your Self-Esteem. And I'm also reading a book on this topic by Nathaniel Brandon, and it's just must read, I guess, for everyone, not just for teachers. And actually, I've dropped a link to my article, on Instagram, where I share, my algorithm, how I choose these sort of resources and how I identify the areas I want to explore.
I'm sorry to chime in, but I think we have to keep a record of every book and course we mentioned during our conversation.
Okay.
I mean, if you think it is important to be mentioned after our session, because I'm going to make this description under the video, so we can put all the links about courses, books, and so that's a request to everyone. If you think you want to put there afterwards, let me know, and we'll discuss that in our chat.
So first of all, you need to somehow make up an audit, of your own teaching. Yes, without it, you will be just bombarded with all possible courses, and who needs them? Like there is also one term I've learned about recently. It's chauffeur knowledge. So there was this very famous physicist, Max Planck. He gave a lot of speeches. He delivered his ideas, communicated his ideas to a really distinguished audience. And there was a person, his chauffeur, who was always with him. And once this chauffeur just said, "So, Max, buddy, I've listened to all of your lectures. I know the same sort of material that you know. I can do the same stuff." And so actually it happened once. So this chauffeur gave a lecture, and like no one even had the troubles believing what he said. But what I'm talking about is that a lot of people who give some webinars, like they give us this chauffeur knowledge. It's only chauffeur knowledge that we can get from many of such webinars. I don't want to say from all of webinars. I don't want to say that all of them are useless, because like the person who prepares some webinar, some course, they work with primary information. Yes, so they work with sources, original sources, and what we get is just some chewed version of these books. So actually we don't benefit much unless we read these books, unless we invest our time into reading, watching something.
Well, yeah, I would agree with you, but well, what's the point for me to read this book if actually it's not at the end I'll realize it's not the type of book that was quite interesting for me. So after listening the courses, after I've learned the gist of something, I can decide whether to proceed and go and learn about it in depth or not. So in this case, I find those courses useful. Yeah, if we look at this from this angle,
Yeah, sure. It depends on your goals, but if you have some sort of a long-term perspective to master your teaching skills, like in some specific aspect, then it's probably better to read some decent book on it, and not to try to register and go for all courses available. Because it's all time consuming.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Sophie also said that you have to be selective. Like you shouldn't just jump on any course because you will anyway get the regurgitated knowledge. This, as you said, chauffeur knowledge, right? Like not something. I actually call this paradox of
patchy. Yeah, patchy.
This too. I call this the paradox of teaching, and it's like when you tell your students something they actually don't learn, and when they tell you something that they should hear from you, they actually learn. I can tell you a case which I think I've discussed already, maybe even online. So that was a plunge that I organized, and the topic was how to write a good CV, a good resume. And initially I wanted to like explore the topic on the internet and present my participants with a summary of their tips and so on and so forth. But then I thought, well, if I do this, I'll read, for example, 10 articles and they will only read 1 page from me. Is it education? Well, maybe, but I wanted them to actually go through these terra incognita themselves, like to explore the internet and look for those articles. And so I just made them, in our meeting, I made them explore the internet for 10 minutes and summarize all the points they'll be encountering. And this way, I think it's always more helpful. Like when you ask a person to first read the material himself or herself and then present to you what is learned, what was learned, and ask questions about what wasn't really clear. In that way, it's going to be more efficient. And the same with a teacher, I guess. Like if you really want to grow, probably to dig deep is the best strategy. Like to go to the sources. And there was an article, my fellow university mate, he wrote an article about law books, I think, and just these motivational things, what's his name, this guy who came to Moscow,
Robinson.
Yeah, Tony Robbins, I think his name was.
Or Robbins.
Yeah, Tony Robbins. So he said, like, I don't want to learn from him. I want to learn from the sources he learned from. So I want to go to what he read, what he explored, because there is the true knowledge, and what he gives is some superficial one. I think it's quite the same to what you said, Sophie, about this. And at the same time, I do agree with Oля that it's just that there are so many good books that it is impossible to read them all. And sometimes you really have to have this gist just to direct yourself, like where actually I should be exploring, not to lose precious time. That is also true.
Sorry, can I just butt in for a minute, for a moment? So there was this time when we were just starting teaching online. Well, as for me, it happened a year ago, in March. And at that time, it felt as an emergency. And personally, I was at my wit's end. At that time, I hadn't even made any, Skype calls, and how I was supposed to start teaching. So at that moment, I found some courses, online courses, extremely helpful. For example, teaching English online, which I found on a FutureLearn platform. So it was just extremely helpful. But most often, I try to give wide berth, to all different, webinars. I avoid them.
So you go profound whenever it's possible.
Okay, so you avoid webinars then, or where do you go to? So you just go and buy books, original books, well, or what do you do then if you want to dig deep?
First of all, I found some trusted, trusted people. Yeah. So as for me, the ELT professional, I do believe is Olga Filatova. She has already been mentioned, today, and she has a lot of materials, around teacher well-being, about being adequate, in your teaching, So she gives lots of like practical advice, So it's not these are not books, but still, it's just one person. I've chosen her, and I've listened to almost everything, she had to deliver. Just one person, not 1,000. So, as I've already said, I decided to focus on like teacher well-being topic and on self-esteem topic, because it ruins everything, if you do not have self-esteem, proper self-esteem, you can't, present yourself well, even if you have C2 and a grade A in all sort of Cambridge exams, it won't work. So you need to have this self-esteem. So it's my focus. I am reading like one book, doing one course, and like Olga Filatova's lectures. Actually, that's it. I can't manage more because I'm also on CPE learning curve, so it's impossible for me to learn more.
There's more than enough, I think.
Sounds like that.
Yeah, bearing in mind your 40 hours of
yes.
teaching.
And commuting, sometimes.
Do you even sleep?
I think
Sophie.
No, I do sleep. Yeah.
No,
I sometimes have some time for makeup. Like it's only today that I haven't brought my concealer. Usually, I have my makeup.
I always actually feel this. On the one hand, I envy women because you can beautify yourself in so many ways, which is not really in the 21st century, not always welcome for men. On the other hand, you do need to spend extra 20-30 minutes to apply that and then spend some time to remove that. Okay, that depends on your I think skill, agility, and how late you woke up or how early.
It's just like this. Your pale isn't. That's it.
Well,
maybe passion.
I've met different opinions on that topic. So okay, let it be 15 minutes on average, and then you have to wash it away at night if you want to have healthy skin, and then it's just like 30 minutes more, and okay, yeah, that's just.
People ruin their life, wreck their lives in all possible ways. Some, invest their time in relationships that don't work. I prefer wasting my time, on palettes, and stitches and makeup. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
It's not wasting your time. It's investing.
Yeah, yes. That's good reframing. Yeah, that's definitely investing time because makeup definitely makes the world better. Let's say reasonable. Okay, that's a long topic again.
Let's drop it.
So, Oля, what about your philosophy of self-development and just development?
Yeah, I can tell you. So I found this quote, which I liked when I heard it. So do what you love and you won't work another day in your life.
Yeah.
So that's my philosophy. And referring to what you were talking about earlier, like when I watch a video that's on psychology and I really like it, and then I share it with my students and we discuss it, I think that's amazing. That's what I love doing, actually. And especially if the student returns is also into this, right? He also has this hobby. He likes discussing the same stuff. Well, I think it's just amazing. And he shares something with me and I share something with him. And it's just perfect. So it's a perfect combination. yeah, it doesn't always happen this way.
Mhm.
So, well, yeah, with high students, well, it's most, oh my goodness, sorry.
Why are they high?
Uh, yeah, because, well, you have, well, with beginners, it's kind of different, don't you think so?
Oh, sorry, I was
With
just, it was
beginners,
another joke. Sorry.
oh, okay, so
I mean,
I didn't
the
get
word high, the
it.
ambiguity of it.
All right, yeah.
Uh, let's not what's that? Jeopardize our stream.
Oh yeah, right.
That's true. Yeah, so
What if
yeah,
you
that's
were to give advice to a newly graduated student from a pedagogical university? Like, where should I move towards? Like, I got a degree. I'm a teacher now, legitimately, but I still feel not enough. What should I do? Just go with the flow, go with the hunch?
well,
Or
you start teaching and then you'll see.
Mhm.
Well, first, yeah, you go for it. You start teaching. You have to actually, yeah, at the beginning, you teach everyone. Like, yeah, remember we talked about this. Yeah, some teachers take everyone. Yeah, but that's also useful when you want to figure out for yourself your audience. Yeah. Your priorities, your everything. So you try kids, you try teenagers, you try adults, mini groups, big groups, offline, online. So you try these things out, and then you decide what you're going to do next, what is best for you.
I agree with
And then
Ola.
you plan, and then you have a happy life.
Yeah, and while you dive into teaching, make sure you read Jeremy Harmer's How to Teach book first. I guess that's a good starting point for all the teachers. It's like a Bible, I guess. Like there is a conventional opinion that this is probably the most important book in ELT.
So a good idea would be to get acquainted with some classically
Classics,
like
right.
universally recognized books that all teachers recommend, and then feel what should be next. That's, I mean, I totally appreciate.
Reading. Yeah,
Please proceed.
you read, of course, you self-educate, but you also go and do, you teach, yeah. So trying not, well, overcoming this fear of beginning teaching finally, yeah, or teaching high levels, so teaching kids. Yeah?
I totally appreciate your clear, how to put it, sincere devotion to the profession. I mean, that you clearly go with your inner teacher. Like you are a teacher. You kind of you feel what should be next. I mean, that's quite a blessing to have this compass, because I think I've met a lot of young specialists who are just so lost, and they, even if they are those inborn teachers, they are still struggling to discover that in themselves. Like, you probably were equipped with this very powerful compass, like what I should do, or you just by the moment when you actually were able to choose, you had accumulated a lot of experience to choose, like you had seen a lot as a practitioner. So I mean, in any way, I totally approve of that method, like use your inner compass, because whatever anyone says, it makes no sense, because it's your road. And actually, I don't know if it is yeah, let's skip it. I'll just give the word to Vika now. Vika, what do you think should be a professional development thing?
Professional development. Well, the books are mentioned. I think that it's important, but I also think that maybe you should look at somebody who is teaching and who is successful in it. Yeah. So maybe ask him, like, how did he come to it? because, you know, I think it's important to really find somebody who inspires you and who is inspired by what he's doing, and literally ask him like how did he come there, and yeah, I think these people can give you a lot of information. Also, yeah, there are so many teachers who literally tell about their experience, tell about like how they do this or that. You shouldn't do everything that they do, of course, but you just should try different things to come to your own style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, finding your own style, finding your own voice as a teacher, actually, it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Not
actually,
trying to
it will
emulate
come
him.
naturally.
Mm-hmm. Are we talking about role models here?
I guess so. As I understood, this is what Vika was referring to.
Mm-hmm. I now try to remember. I think, yeah, at the beginning of my career, I was using a lot of memories from my experience with English teachers that I had as a teenager. My Irish teacher at Link, that's an English school in Krasnoyarsk, Irish teacher. Then next year it was a Canadian teacher, and then Matthew, an American teacher who is now has this school, Absolute English in our city. And we had a great teacher at school, at our public school. And so I think I had been, I was following the examples a lot until I came to myself. And then when I was at Celta, then there were also very impactful coaches there. Like, and when you understand that they're impactful is when you start subconsciously mimicking them in your lessons, and the bigger the impact, the more deeply it lies, and that's so funny to observe in yourself. And then you kind of shed what you didn't need, and then you keep what you learned from them and form yourself as well. Do you think you had some kind of role models, or still have? That's again to everyone.
Well, I'll be first. I didn't.
Oh, really?
Just didn't happen that way.
That's very curious.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
It's only with English, so, or just general?
Only English related, of course. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible to live your life without any role models.
Mhm.
Did you have a negative role model, like a model you didn't want to follow whatsoever?
No, I don't think I don't think I was actually aware of, recognizing any role models at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have some terrific examples of teachers who taught me. And I didn't have any terrible examples either. So I don't know. I just didn't recognize the style as something unique and something to well to follow the example.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that we both, with Kirill, we both come from the same alma mater. We are both lawyers, and we are both international lawyers, and we both give up our professions at some point and picked up this teaching career. And I remember we had this interview with Kirill about his English development, which was called How I Made My English. And there, I think Kirill told us that he just kind of coincidentally arrived at this profession after like giving up law career and then going to the master's course, and then he thought that he could teach, something like that. So that was actually
That's exactly right.
an inborn desire. If you didn't have a role model, then it was just coming out of you, and that's such an impressive case always. And I think here I want to again side with Ola about your inner compass. Like, the best advice I think I can give at in many situations is just look inside. Look inside, like gaze inside properly, like what are you actually? Are you this, or maybe you are something completely different which you just fail to see at this point of your life? And because going to someone with a request like help me identify myself, well, you might bump into somebody who isn't very reflective, him or herself. Like maybe they just have no idea how they in the first place have become themselves, and that will be a disaster because they'll give you a wrong direction. And yeah, if you find yourself, you can help others find themselves. Yeah, I'm sliding into philosophy. Stop me. Can you say something else, please? Just quickly before it gets too grim.
Mhm. Well, yeah, professional development. Well, I think I have some thoughts, but I need to put them into words. Yeah, when I think of professional development, because in the compass, I think it's still something different, right? It's just how you, it's about how you plan your lessons, have your students. It's more about how you organize,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, your teaching career. And development, it's coming along, yeah. Yeah, so you can read something on the internet, you can read this sophisticated books on methods of teaching. Well, yeah, so we have methodology, yeah, methods of teaching, and also we have language development, yeah, all those exams, CE, CPE, IELTS, TOEFL, so we can go for it. Well, I did TOEFL and I did CE. Now my goal is to take CPE, just for the sake of language, because of course I noticed when I was my 3 years in Montessori with kids, well, actually ruined in a way something that I had before. So, well, I needed to gain some confidence speaking English when I returned, and well, the level of English when I returned to, well, after Montessori, when I returned to teaching was not the same as it used to be, right? So that's why now I'm thinking of taking some courses in CP. Well, I think it's important. I think I really need it, right? So at present, well, I can say I've put it on the back burner a little bit because I'm traveling. So, and there are so many other things to take into consideration, and so beautiful views and so on, but it's still there. So it's still, I still keep it in mind that, well, I want to proceed with this. I want to, yeah, to do it on my own, and maybe at some point, like to take a month's course right before the exam when I choose the date and so on. So, for example, that's as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, as far as language is concerned. So it's, well, for me it's important. You guys, well, your English, I don't know, you're so knowledgeable, you speak so well, so let me praise you. You don't really like, if some of you has said like they feel inferior or something, like this complex of which complex?
Superiority.
Superiority.
Yeah, superiority, and yeah, well, not being confident and so on. Yeah, well, you guys are great. I don't know, really, just oh yeah. So you what, you, a crown? Is it a crown?
No, it's bellissimo. It's
It's real. You are really perfect at,
It's a hat.
you know, downgrading this, you know, heat of our argument. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm playing a role of a clown today.
Yeah.
As usually.
Oh, come on.
Oh no, I like this role. I mean, not a clown, but an entertainer. That
Yeah,
sounds
thank you for
nice.
entertaining us. Okay, I'll be short. So, look, so one thing, methodology, well, new tendencies, and yeah, this so these new approaches. Yeah, it's good to learn about them. It's good to trying to implement them again to see if they're applicable in your classes, if they're good for you. Personally, this in the compass again, and then language development, language improvement, higher levels, while some exams. And the third point is for me, because I teach online, so all those online tools that I might use in my lessons. So I check on them regularly. Yeah, try to use some of them in my classes. So 3 directions for me that I singled out for me. All right.
I have to return this compliment to you, Ola, that like you're also very like really great and you are so articulated. I mean, that's just like you have such a clear understanding of your goals and purposes and development. And at the same time, I also want to share that while you were beginning this last year commentary, I was thinking that I was actually very lucky to have you all on this board. I mean, that it was a really great choice because having had several podcasts already, I think like a couple of dozens easily, I think it's always kind of a Russian roulette case that you have some people who are not really engaged so much, and we have here such a great conversation. I was just feeling so lucky that we are here, and so thank you very much for your like very well formed opinion, and I think you're as great as us and even greater. So yeah, thank you. And I wanted to now go to Kirill about professional development, because I think he hasn't yet expressed his opinion.
Well, and I will cover that. I will get back to that. But first, actually, Ola happened to mention new approaches, and this is one topic that I would like to discuss with you as well. Just maybe just to state it for the future conversations. There's this. I don't know how new it is, but this lexical approach. And there is this visible shift from communicative or maybe actually combining the two. So I wanted to know what experience, if any, you have with this, or how interested you are in this approach. How pressure do you feel to get acquainted with it?
Which one did you?
Lexical approach.
Lexical. Yeah. I heard Mexican. All right.
Yeah, Mexican sounds better.
I also had
Mexican sounds even better.
The lexical approach. Yeah, interesting topic, right? I've heard a lot about it. Yeah. Your experience, that would be interesting to hear.
Muy bien.
Do I have my Mexican hat? Where's my sombrero?
Well, as for lexical approach, so the essence of it is that it just blurs the line, the boundary between vocabulary and grammar. And so you can actually teach vocabulary via teaching grammar and vice versa. And I've tried this, and I applied it to, first of all, speaking practice. For preparation for speaking, and I also tried it as a tool for sort of scaffolding, maybe when presenting video classes. There are some books with like different units there, but some units tend to be, for example, more difficult. Yeah. So for example, even if you take some speak out, that I usually use in my classes, there are some units about books, literature, stories, but at the same time there are some units about crime, so something heavy, and it's clear that some videos used for this, they are also like heavy. And usually there is this approach that you first try to catch the most important idea, then you discuss if your predictions were true or false, and only then you start working with language. Yes, I tried to do it vice versa, yeah, using this lexical approach, and actually in some cases it helped me, in some case it didn't. Still I don't think I am well qualified to talk about it, but I am trying to approach this idea. But I guess it's nothing new. It's not something absolutely new. It's that we just started discussing it just recently, but it existed. It's the same as with communicative approach. It's not a child of 1990s. It existed from time immemorial.
Verbal,
Verbal.
right?
Sorry.
Right?
I think
Thank
it's
you.
immemorial, but
Oh, well, it might be.
Okay, let us check. Immemorial. Immemorial.
Immemorial.
Yeah.
Antediluvian approaches. Yeah, actually, that's interesting. That I was recently really puzzled with this problem, like what they were doing in the 19th century. With I was like, everything new is forgotten old, right? So I was like, I need to read some pages, and guess what was the most helpful resource? It was reddit.com, where people were just linguistically bothered with this question about ancient approaches to teaching, starting from Greece and Rome, ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and that was, well, quite an enlightenment for me. I wanted to now, if you don't mind, leave this topic about lexical approach and communicative approach for maybe a later podcast, because that sounds like a massive topic, and there's a lot of connected conversations, I guess, and experiences, and we might just put it into our bank. And here I also wanted to ask Sophie, you were dropping something out in our chat, and that was plenty of links already to and analysis of our teaching cases. That was meant to be, could you clarify?
So yes, I just want to continue and expand on Olga's idea. She listed a range of things that are connected to our professional development, and I just decided to mention analysis of our own teaching cases, because actually it's the least costly thing that we can do. It's just analyzing what goes on in our classroom. Yeah, it doesn't take you it doesn't take any money. Yeah, it just investing your time in analysis of what you see, yeah, what you feel. Do you feel the development of your students? Like, what sort of students are they? Are they like or visuals? Like what sort of learner? Yeah, are they? So
type of learners,
do
yeah.
they make? Do they make progress or not? Are they satisfied? Like how do they feel about their progress? About confidence, yeah, of their speech and so on.
I think, judging from my own condition, I'm kind of nearing the point where intellectual effort will be challenging at some to a certain degree, and I thought we could have time for one more topic, something like, I don't know, I was thinking about stress reduction, because it's always nice to talk about positive things that make our life better, and that could be a nice finishing note, but maybe you had some other suggestions, something more calling to you.
Oh, I love that idea.
Okay.
I mean, stress reduction.
Ladies, what about you?
Yeah, of course. Let's talk about stress reduction.
Okay. Could we now change the direction just to restore equality? And oh, hello, Kate. We have our permanent guest. You are, well, I can't say late because we are still here, but well, I wish you had come earlier. We had quite an insightful talk about some things, but still we are here, and welcome. So I wanted to restore equality the equilibrium of gender. Don't listen to me. So, Kirill, can you can you please start this time? Let's go clockwise now.
Yeah, sure, but I don't know where to start. Well, I guess we can start with the things that actually give us stress in our job.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
when do you feel that it's accumulated? And personally, uh, well, let me think. I wouldn't say that I'm actually that I actually feel a lot of stress because I enjoy what I do. But there are times where I have these negative feelings, and well, I guess I can say that they're the the essence of stress. So when I have a lesson that I don't feel uh, that went well, I guess I have the self-doubt, and that makes me feel stressed a bit. It makes me feel rushed uh, to correct the wrongs that I did, or take the paths that I didn't take. So I guess, yeah, bad lessons, or well, the lessons that didn't go as smoothly that I planned, they stress me.
Mhm.
As for this stress reduction, I guess when the next lesson happens and it goes smoothly, just as I planned, uh, I feel elated, I can say. And this is the cure is in this thing itself. The very thing that gives you stress gives you the cure, the reduces the stress. I don't know.
Mm.
Well, at least it feels like this to me. Yeah.
Mhm. I think it's another teaching paradox that the better you work, the less you're tired. That's quite funny, but I've noticed so many times that if I'm teaching in a row a lot of lessons, but they're all going in this inspired, motivated, positive manner, it's like it feels like I can do it endlessly. And one lesson that goes like astray is just so like I don't know, like kills the day, and you can't do anything after that. I'll not take things personally. TED Talk by Frederick Imbo. Imbo is the end of the message, or there should be something else?
No, it's just TED Talk that I've recently listened to, and I guess it's like very helpful in dealing with this stressful situation mentioned by Kirill. So the most important message of this talk is that some unpleasant things we sometimes come across, be it criticism, it's not about us. It is usually about other people. Yes. So if you feel that your student is bored during class, so there could be like two variants. Yeah, two options. First, yeah, probably the class was not well baked. I don't know, or it was absolutely wonderful, but it didn't suit your learner's needs.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yeah. At the same time, maybe this person was just tired. I know a lot of teenagers, kids that are just overwhelmed with their studies, and they just don't have any human capacity to take in more knowledge. They're no longer sponges. They are, I don't know, what? Mops. I don't know.
Sophie, you're a bit glitching, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm back. Yeah, to reality.
Yeah. So let me just restate that you were saying that teenagers are not just sponges to absorb everything that they're given, and that's why they can be just humanly tired, and it's not your fault.
Yeah, certainly. Or maybe this person has had a crush on somebody, and it's not mutual, so the person is just sad.
Yeah.
And Well, as for me, I also found it useful and helpful for myself to how to say, to maybe to mention to well, at the end of the class, for example, there is a class and I see a student while online that I don't know what's wrong with him. He's tired or in a bad mood. Well, he's not smiling. Maybe towards the end of the class he starts smiling, but the class doesn't go. Like he's forgotten everything. Yeah, he used to talk and now he's making simple mistakes and he, yeah, the class doesn't go well. And I found it useful for myself and I think for him to release this stress and this this tension, like well, to say at the end of the class I just say, well, in Russian even, well, because now I refer to low levels, of course it can be in English, but really now in my head I'm referring to one concrete situation, to one particular case, when I just said in Russian, like, yeah, the class went like this. I just noticed you felt maybe tired, and I understand that sometimes we can't put words to, well, we can't say a sentence even in Russian, you know, and in English it's even more understandable. Yeah, we all have days like this, that's okay. Yeah, but today it was like this. Yeah, I noticed that today you were not as always, so to say. And then I got some feedback, like she said what was wrong, what like the topic wasn't really her thing and stuff like that. And it helped. It helped me in the first place, because after this class I wasn't thinking like, oh no, I wasn't feeling, you know, I didn't have those feelings, those bad and hard feelings, like, oh, something was wrong, but I don't know what was wrong. And what's going to be with the next class and stuff like that. Yeah, I wasn't speculating much. Yeah, so it was clarified right away, and I mean, I really liked it, and I think it's a very good idea to voice it, to mention this. Yeah, your worries or how you see the class. Yeah,
to talk things through.
Yeah, exactly, to talk this through.
Vika, you're nodding also quite like empathically, so you have some similar experience in this case.
I like how you notice people and you feel people. So yeah, actually this is just my life. I have these two students who, like, I already took them. I sometimes like working with them, but most of the time they're so moody. Like today, I don't know, something happened, the weather, I don't know, the teacher, like a cat didn't I don't know, like anything could happen. But really, and you just look at him and he's just like he's down, he feels down. And I always ask my students like what's happening, because from that point we could or solve the problem or like do something else, because I'm very flexible. For example, if he feels not okay, yeah, we could play, we could do something else, we could change the mood, yeah, like he forget about it and maybe make this lesson not as strict, like, okay, we will study grammar anyway. But no, I think it's important to change the pace, change the mood of the lesson. Yeah, but it's still difficult for me to deal with such kids.
I wanted to read this message that Kate sent. See eye to eye with Sophia more often than not. Such a situation shouldn't be taken personally. That's about tired teenagers, tired students. I know Kate now specializes on young learners, and so I guess that's probably a personal pain too. I was making notes about this putting yourself into somebody's shoes and know who you're dealing with. So I wanted to say here, like, first of all, it really helps to decrease this unknown, like as Oli was talking about, that like you have to question your student thoroughly to understand what's happening, because you might not know. What also helps is to be a student yourself. I'm a huge proponent of this approach. Like you have to study all the time, actively, like engage into a learning process where you have a teacher and you are exposed to the same thing that you expose other people to. And not that, well, it's actually quite revelatory. I mean, it uncovers so many things that you have already forgotten as a teacher, as a person who always tells people what to do, and gives you a lot of discomfort, which you have to deal with, and then you just project this discomfort better on your students. And about knowing who you're dealing with, that's why I think there always have to be breaks between lessons, which I was fighting about with some of my colleagues. Like, I cannot believe that you can teach consecutively, like you can teach without windows, because I think most of my students, I mean every person is a very, very isn't like an endless book actually, and so some people are just very complex, and to approach them properly, you have to set yourself up. Like, you have to sit down and think, literally think, who am I going to meet now? And that's not an automatic process. I mean, in my case, it's not automatic. I don't do this automatically always. Sometimes I have to actually evoke some certain memories, like we talked about that happened in his or her life. I have to ask about that. I have to remember that this person is reacting in this way, and that they have some kind of tendency to their level decreases by the end of the lesson because they get tired, or their concentration levels can be working like that. So I have to tune myself to a person I'm about to meet, and that's very helpful. But it's also important to remember about that. And yeah, so, and here we go back to this Kirill's point that the better you do that, the better you feel, which is quite a funny thing about this profession. Are there nice things that you can do for yourself as a person teacher, like not as a teacher, but as a person teacher? Some little or not little tricks that cheer you up? Ice cream, a TV show, or I don't know, a nice walk, or, well, some human pleasures, something that always works and makes your life better even on a worst day?
Probably
Could you
here.
address that?
Sorry.
Was that addressed to anyone? I mean,
To everyone.
anyone specific? Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right. Sophie, sorry. Go ahead.
So actually, Kirill, you wanted to actually discuss the point A, yeah? So what causes stresses? And when we discuss the way we treat ourselves, we also need to remember what are the causes of stress. So as for me, for example, I don't have too many stresses. Yeah, I have some, but not too many. But this stressful situation I usually put myself in usually happens because of being plunged into some pile of micro stresses that I incur. Actually, it's about waking up too early, for example, or, for example, trying to get ready for a class in the nick of time. So sometimes it happens, and it's exactly these are situations that steal my resource. Not dealing with, for example, some uncomfortable people, but like this preparation that sometimes happens in the nick of time. It's very like stressful for me sometimes, and I want to be perfect. Yeah, so it's like too difficult to meet these standards. And that's why I just started creating some less stressful mornings for myself. Yes, so I try to wake up earlier, but not to accomplish more work, but to have a nice walk around Akademgorodok where I live, and so it does help me to start the day beautifully and to have some energy, that I could communicate to my students, and they also I don't know, feel this probably. Their level of stress also goes down, or they at least pretend to forget about it for some time. So it's just trying to find some haven of tranquility in the morning. That's my way.
Morning is actually such a big thing. It's like a lot of people just massacre it with the rush and hectic actions, and I did it, and I think I still do it, but that's partly because I suffer from insomnia, and well, I just want to have a morning, but to have a morning you have to sleep at night, and today I couldn't fall asleep until 9 o'clock in the morning, so that was just quite a problem, and didn't really happen. My morning happened, but that was the wrong way, the very wrong way.
Don't you feel groggy right now? Drowsy?
I slept from 9 until 1:30, I guess, so I had a sleep. That was quite enough to function. Yeah, that's fine.
To function, to survive, but probably not to prosper. That's the problem.
Well, I'll get there. Don't worry. Kate said buying knižečky, which is books, is probably a very human thing and helps to cheer up. I understand that. Knižečky are very nice. Oля, what about your techniques to rejoice life?
To rejoice life in the morning.
In your life.
Well, it's difficult for me to enjoy early morning because like I'm an owl 100%, and I believe in this distribution of people. Larks and owls. So I don't believe those who say no, you just need to change your routine. You have to go to bed early and then you get up early. It doesn't work with me. I know it from my own experience. I've tried, but I've been like this since kindergarten. I hated getting up early. To go to school, to go to the kindergarten, and to go to work. So now I organize my lessons so that they don't start earlier than 10 in the morning. And
that's quite early.
Well, so again, it's not my favorite time. Of course, 11 is much better. But I also prefer to have windows, actually breaks between classes. It's very important for me. I can't teach continuously without breaks. That's also my philosophy. So that's why, sometimes I need to start like at 10, so then the next class will be maybe 11, 12, then to have 3-4 classes a day. Not more. So I don't like 5 or 6. Sometimes it happens, but then it's a nightmare. So, but I have some magic tool that that you all know. It's called coffee, and I'm a coffee addict. So it's like I've been drinking coffee, like this.
Confession.
12 yes, that's right. 12 steps group. I think, isn't it the same like being addicted to smoking? So recently I got this idea into my head. Isn't it like the same really? Because I'm really addicted to coffee. Like I really feel bad when I don't drink at least 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I even can get a headache. Okay, so I'm still thinking about it and observing what it's like how do I feel and so on. But it makes my day bright right away. And when I'm still in bed and I'm thinking of coffee, of this perspective, drinking my coffee. So I rejoice. Like, okay, I can get up Morning exercise also help, like while I do some stretching, it helps me. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. And then like washing, you know, I like it very much. And then drinking coffee, and then I'm fit. Class. Something like this.
Coffee isn't the worst poison to pick.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, smoking is much worse.
Kate says, geez, at 10 o'clock, I can't even get my tongue around English words. Yeah. That's quite an issue. I suffered, and I still occasionally suffer from this speech impediment, and my speaking apparatus is still not very at the condition that I want it to be. So occasionally I have to read aloud for some 10 minutes or 15 minutes just to make it properly articulated, like to get my muscles from the lazy condition into driving condition. And of course, streaming a lot helps because I constantly practice. But again, it's like if you just talk, it is not the thing. If you talk properly, if you make your jaw drop and then close, drop and close properly, you exercise your muscles, then it works. And yeah.
Have you tried any? Wait. Sorry. Have you tried one of those practices that they usually give at the pronunciation courses? Those, how do you call those guys? Phonetics experts? Well, let's call them that. They do it like.
You mean
Have you tried that? Yeah, for example,
it's not.
She's
it's
a good
not
example.
There. It's not there. It's. I feel it. It's somewhere. You know, when you speak Russian, it engages different muscles, and I feel it very sharply because in the morning I can speak English better than I can speak Russian, and that feels physically. Yes, I mean I really can speak English better in the morning than I can speak Russian, and that's because I feel my Russian muscles are still numb and my English muscles are already functioning. So I think it's some kind of a neurological disorder. Also, I'm left-handed, and left-handed people have a 5 or 10% tendency to stutter. Like they have a higher chance to start stuttering than right-handed people, which is quite a miracle. I mean, it's so frustrating. So I think
that's because of the devil.
Maybe you see your dreams in English and you still.
No, I don't, unfortunately, see that. Some people, my students tell me like. The worst case was one of my students complained that I came to him in his dream and said that if he didn't remember that irregular verb, I would put him into an elementary group, and he was in upper intermediate at that point. And so it was a nightmare for him. And I was like, man, I wasn't so cruel with you. What are you talking about? Yeah.
That's right.
Vika, what about
it reminds me of my
sorry.
nightmares, teacher-related nightmares, that I'm kind of not prepared for the lesson, or I'm late for the lesson, or I work for the school that I left long time ago, and I work there again. I find myself there time after time. So yeah, I've got these professional nightmares too.
Back to the chains. So, Vika, what about your human pleasures?
About like, okay. Well, I like my long mornings. I think the key of reducing stress is managing your time and managing your lessons to be comfortable for you. Like if you manage your lessons from 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock, of course you will be tired and stressed. That's naturally. It's like make your life simpler, like easier for you to live. Why do you do it for yourself? And what I do, I don't start my lessons earlier than 2 p.m. Okay, 1 p.m.
Nice.
And
wow.
Yes, I wake up at 10, drink my coffee, I cook my breakfast. So my breakfast can finish at 11. So also with some stretching, yoga, etc. Yeah, and I just don't have this problem like I have 10 lessons a day. That's just not my case. I didn't do it myself, and yeah, it doesn't happen.
Could we qualify that, call it as like know your limit, like know where discomfort starts and stop there? Like you know your measure and you just organize your life in a way that stress just doesn't come because you don't let it come.
Yes, like I mean, I can have 5 lessons, but that's just my limit. I know if I will take 6, it will not just work. I will suffer. My lessons will suffer because of the lack of preparation, and students will suffer. Like I mean, like what's the point? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. There was a message: waking up earlier than 10 equals torturing. And the same shit about the nightmare that Kirill had, I guess, about not being prepared or coming back to the school where you worked. I had a nightmare where I forgot the second and the third form to a verb that didn't exist, and I was just like, hell. And my students were asking about that, and I was like, oh.
So funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, in your dreams you can have these words that don't exist. And then when you wake up, you try to remember them. So, and you can't. And, oh my goodness, yeah, I know this.
Sometimes these words that you have in your dream are quite fascinating. I mean, they are really fresh, and I once invented a verb, a word in Russian in my dream, and I won't tell it because it's not even Googleable. I'm keeping it for my book. Yeah.
You haven't mentioned it before, your book.
I don't have a book. I mean, as a latent writer, of course, I'm thinking about a book, and so who doesn't?
Okay.
And
keep us posted.
Yeah, I have stories about Buddha on my page if you're interested, but they are satirical. Yeah. Kirill, what about you?
Stress reduction. I mean, life joys, right? Usual things like, I don't know, some treats. I'm a sugar addict, actually. I try to quit, but unsuccessfully so far. Well, yeah, I've done that multiple times. So maybe this is just the part of me. Some purchases, yeah, definitely these. For example, today I don't know how it is not directly related to stress that I get from my work, because actually I don't get much, as I said before. So, for example, today I bought a throwing knife. Why would I need that? I just wanted that. So,
what do you want to throw?
Oh, I don't know, just to practice. I don't know, a wooden wall. I'm definitely not going to become a commando type of guy, or I'm not going to become a soldier or a ninja, which actually was my dream as a kid, becoming a ninja. So I don't know, just
teacher ninja.
no, a teacher wasn't in the picture at that time. I know, just
Sensei.
following a whim, something like that.
Remember, we were children. I mean, I don't know if you had this childhood, but we actually played knives in my childhood. We had, so there was this, I think the rule was that you had this circle and you had to throw the knife so that it ended up inside earth, and then you had your like portion of this circle as your territory.
Exactly.
However fun it was.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah, I played it too.
Yeah, I mean, people who practice killing just when they were children. I mean, like, what the hell? I mean, now I think about it, like when I now see it, and I'm quite an anti-militarist, I think, and when I see children with machine guns, I mean, plastic machine guns, I think, why on earth we do that? No, I should stop here because it's again a different topic. But that's, I mean, in a nutshell, in essence, I think it's actually about precision. I mean, it's nice, it's fun, and it's something mechanical. I think when you have some physical activity and you succeed in that, it's very satisfying. Like cooking, like cleaning your flat is also very satisfying. It's very
Not for
stressful.
me.
Not for you. Oh, okay. Some days ago, I cleaned my flat, and I thought, oh, I felt so much better. I thought, can I pay people to clean their flat? Like, or maybe, or maybe just should I find a job as a cleaner? Like, because it's so stress relieving, because you feel something has finally found its place in your head.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, it's the same for me. I like cleaning up, cleaning my flat. After that, I feel so good. But also another activity connected to cleaning. It's ironing.
You like it?
Well, yeah, because when I iron, I really can think about everything. Like I iron, but I'm doing it, but at the same time, I process some maybe a bad class actually, or a situation from my life, or from teaching, from anything, any situation, and I do it, and it really helps me, because like you have this stress, for example, something happened, and so you just sit and think about it. Well, I can't do this, so I need to do something, I need to move in order to process it. So I can go and eat something, sometimes it helps, but well, I'm conscious of it, that I'm eating my stress actually, so up, but okay, it's one idea, but sometimes I'm just not hungry, so I don't go for it. And then there was this iron board and an iron in my flat, so it was always there up, and I remember myself looking at this, and okay, I think I want to iron. I was ironing, and it felt so good, it released my stress, and and then, well, I understood that this thing helps me, and so I started using it.
That's more productive than throwing knives, I guess.
Well, I don't have knives which I can throw.
You have in your kitchen, I think. Any knife is, I think, is throwable. I'm sure of that. Kate says, I'm frightened of burning the hell out of my clothes. You're a superwoman. So you just got yourself a new title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you're flattering me.
Ironing, that's something I always did as my house chore when I was a child. My mother always employed me with this task: ironing, washing the dishes, and I think they were my two favorite activities at home. I mean, in terms of household activities, of course. Not that I was a maniac of cleaning. Yeah.
So actually, probably the reason you might have been obsessed with such things, or you might enjoy such things, is that you can see the result, instantly. It's absolutely instantaneous, compared with our work, so which is far from producing this instant result. So it's more kind of process-based and not result-based. Well, there is a result, but you need to wait for some time.
But I hate dusting.
Yes.
I hate dusting. I mean, it's strange, but I feel it is so futile. I mean, it's so like you wash like the shelves and whatever, and then everything gets dusty again. But again, you wash the dishes, and then they become dirty again. And so, what's the point of washing them? And so it doesn't connect. Like it's apparent that there is some inconsistency in my brain, and
oh, really? Yeah, but I also like washing, but I do it not that often, but I also find it relaxing, in fact, washing the dishes. I think it's because of the water flowing, this water flow. I think it's because of this.
What about art? Does anyone do art here as a sublimation technique?
Watercolors, probably. Yeah. So I can't say that I'm a watercolor artist, but it does help to reduce pain. And actually, it's something I'm an absolute beginner in. It does help me understand my learners. Yeah, because to paint something, yeah. To make this perfectly imperfectly loose brushes, yeah, leave on my I don't know, paper. So I need to first of all prepare a sketch, and it's so difficult to make it. Yeah, so you need to calculate some things and so on, to measure some things, to know the proportions. It's not something that you have an innate talent for. So I'm working on this skill.
So
And
watercolor.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Anyone else does art?
Singing in small.
Sorry?
Singing in small. Yeah. So it's an singing app. You upload it, yeah, and you can sing some songs. Yeah. In your earbuds, you can hear the music and you just sing along, and then you can make a recording. That's cool.
I actually want to reprimand you three who said that you don't do art, because I don't believe it, because you all have Instagrams and they're quite beautiful. I mean, and having a beautiful Instagram is not an automatic thing at all. I mean, you have to think about design, you have to pick up the colors, and you have to pick the colors, and you have to, well, organize everything. And so, I mean, each of you has a nice and well-designed Instagram page, and like your own presentation style. And so I think it is art in its best form, practical and aesthetical at the same time. So I think you do art, and that is definitely art. Not to mention that you also have makeup. I mean, not you, Kirill, of course, but still, I mean, makeup is such an art. It's also a skill.
Well, thank you for that, but I thought you were talking about art as a narrow category.
Well,
Yeah.
Like drawing or painting.
What can be more broad than art?
No, I just thought you were referring to the act of drawing or painting.
Yeah, painting. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so art can be just painting or general art. Yeah, yeah. I love my Instagram. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I choose pictures. Yeah. I work hard on it, and I love it at the same time. So.
Vika, what about you? Do you have these artistic activities in this broad sense?
I make clothes.
Yeah,
is it art?
I remember you did that actually, and your dresses that you, well, I think you made dresses for yourself, and then you came in them to the English club. They were just absolutely gorgeous, and I think that is definitely art. Yeah.
I remember Vika's suits.
Oh, yeah. I made quite few suits. Yeah. Thanks for referring. Yeah, I love it. In this sense of art, yeah, I think I really adore it. Can we say that cooking is art as well? You know, with putting the food together on the plate. Yes.
Without any doubt.
In this sense, everything is art.
Yeah, we're all artists
living
here.
Living a life is art. So.
Well, I think the distinguishing line is like, do you understand what you are doing? Like, do you actually feel that you are experimenting? Do you feel this sublimation? Do you feel this transcendental feeling that art brings in itself? Like, as one psychotherapist put it, like, you have to do some art because that's probably the only way a human can go beyond your like limits. And if you think about it, then you probably do art. If you just go randomly with your instincts, then probably it's not art. Yeah, but from that standpoint, I think all your activities that you mentioned are really artistic activities because you do them consciously. I think we should go to the final stage of our meeting, and that will be probably answering Kate's question. Can you share your favorite classroom games? I think that could be quite a nice question, just to mention a couple of them.
Classroom. Do we mean classroom like a physical classroom or an online classroom?
Let's go with both. Can we?
Okay. Let me think.
Like legacy activities from the world without the pandemic, and the current one, the new world, the aftermath of
Mafia.
2020. Mafia. Okay. Are you serious?
Why not? I'm serious.
Okay.
I am serious because I've had such experiences. So I was teaching some groups of teenagers, like they were 15, 16 years old, and they were also like perfectionists and so on. So they put everything, yes, in our classes, but then at the end, they would just burn out. Yes, and I felt that, and so it was also a summer camp, so it wasn't intended to be all serious. So in the end of classes, we sometimes played Mafia, or like, well, there are actually some other nice games. For example, zombies. So you split your group into parts. So one part are robots, zombies, yeah, and another part of the class should program them to do some actions. You sometimes need to mess your classroom, yeah, to for example put tables in some strange positions, or to put your chairs upside down somehow, so that these robots, yeah, somehow have to overcome, yeah, some hurdles, yeah, various. And so those who program, yeah, they are teams, yeah, they also work in teams. Every team has their own robot. It's very funny, actually. Sometimes we even tried to level it up, and the robots were in sort of, how is it called?
Blindfolds?
Yeah, exactly. But then the level of physical difficulty had to be not like that high. Like safety, yeah, measures also should be taken into consideration. But it's funny, yeah.
I
How
think...
are they supposed to? Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I won't forget. So please.
Okay. How are they supposed to go through the obstacle course? I mean, do they get any instructions from their teams? Are they programmed in advance?
Yes. So one member of the team shouts out, yeah, what a robot should do. For example, one step forward, yeah, or like 2 steps back, or somehow, or just jump. So.
That actually works for a programming class too, ideally.
It sounds like a completely lost opportunity for me in terms of our events about Harry Potter in 2016, because it's actually Imperio's spell. Like you just cast this Imperio, and then the person has to follow your commands. It's such a fun activity for an event with 300 people. Oh, now I'm so...
When you mentioned Harry Potter, I knew you were going to say that.
Oh?
When you mentioned Harry Potter, I knew you were going to say about the Imperial curse.
So, brilliant idea. Thanks for sharing. Let's go to next ideas.
I have one for kids, but the one would be Pictionary. Do you know this one? Yeah, it doesn't work well with teenagers, or especially with adults, but younger kids, they love it.
What's the name again?
Pictionary. So you can do this both in a physical classroom and online. One person or a team, they draw something, and well, when the other people can recognize it, they raise their hand or they just shout it out what thing is being drawn, and they get a point if their guess is correct. So yeah, it kind of involves drawing and guessing, and it activates the vocabulary. So that's
When
fun
you're
practice.
online, how are they drawing? Are you using this virtual whiteboard?
Yep,
Mhm,
I do.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
there is Mira.
Yeah, it's a great one. The
What's
best one even.
Mira, Vika, for the record?
Mira is the website where you can draw, you can actually it's very good for online teaching. Like you share some documents there, like you can put like screenshots, or you can put the game there, links, like definitely good site to go.
Yeah, the possibilities of Miro are actually limitless.
Various.
Right.
I'm in the dark.
Yeah, that was actually quite a picture that like you were slowly descending into this nocturnal atmosphere, like
Yeah.
contrast
It's actually
rising.
still light outside. Yeah, you can see it, but somehow here, yeah, it's dark inside. Well, to tell the truth, I don't play games every lesson. I don't know, especially online. So like online classes, they're shorter, and I don't have groups. Like if I think of an offline class with a group, yeah, well, usually 2 hours, then of course, like, yeah, it's nice to make, to make use of some games while including new process. But somehow with online, it's, I don't know. It's either what I do is actually most of the time, if I want to practice something in this playful way, yeah, playing a game, is a board game, yeah. So I make different board games.
You make?
Yeah, I make. Or there are also sites, but I don't know, with sites it takes more time. But I want to explore that actually. That's actually a good topic. Yeah, maybe, yeah, it will inspire me to do it faster, after our discussion.
Actually, there are so many applications and websites to use, and you can take teachers already made it for you, like you just can use it, and it's so much fun for kids and teenagers. Yeah,
that's right. But again, yeah, I mostly work with adults, and I like to make my own,
Oh, adults love to play games.
I'm sorry?
Adults love to play games too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, like I said, yeah, now most of the time I use board games, which I make myself. So
I'm sure they like it.
yeah, but again, not every class. I don't know. What about you?
No, definitely not every class.
Well, I remember when I was teaching offline, yeah, it was kind of different. It was really different because 2 hours, yeah, like 10 students, yeah, different people, and and I remember the time also, like from 7 to 9 in the evening. Yeah, everyone is after work and tired. Yeah, so it's very nice to play a game. It's like it's used here so good, so well. Yeah, with online it's a bit different. Sometimes, yeah, I don't want to waste time on this. Like for me, it's like I'm wasting time. I feel like wasting time, and then I say no to this. I don't know.
You can use it as practice the language. It's not like we play game just to play game.
Yeah, exactly. When I feel like now the stage, yeah, we've done everything we could, yeah. So this, and this, but still maybe one more time, or maybe to review something. Yeah, a game is perfect. Yeah, when a game is perfect, I go for it. Yeah.
And
So actually, it's just all about gamification. It's one of these top-notch ELT trends that is on everyone's lips. But at the same time, there are some people who do not want to be gamified. Yeah. So if this is a game just for the sake of a game, then certainly it's not what we need.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, totally agree.
Vika, what's your favorite game at lessons?
I have plenty of games every lesson, because if you don't play games with kids, they will be bored.
Mhm.
They will go. Yeah, so online websites. Wordwall was mentioned. Yes, I use it too. Learning apps, Starfall. So there are plenty of websites. Yeah, Wordwall is my favorite. Yes, there are so many various resources on different grammar, vocabulary, whatever.
Mhm.
For online, I really like to play ball, like, you know, to like throw the ball. This is like the best interactive game that can be with kids or with teenagers. Okay, with kids mostly.
Mhm.
Yeah, like for revision or something. Yeah, maybe Battleship. I also like it.
Yeah, Battleship, right.
Yay!
And what is it about?
So that's like, for example, to practice grammar, right? So on the, for example, horizontal, you have pronouns. On the, what is it? Vertical, yeah, you have, for example, verbs. And then you train, for example, to fight the ship of like opponent. You tell, for example, I am going. And so if it's like, you know, yeah, so
It's Russian. In Russian, maybe, yeah, Морской бой.
yes.
Wait a second. Instead of ships, you have pronouns and verbs.
No, like you can have shapes, yeah, but instead of like numbers and letters, you have pronouns and verbs, for example.
I see.
Yeah, so to fight the battle, to fight the ship, you have to like use the pronoun and the verb. For example, present simple, present continuous, and past simple, like anything you want to fight.
I see.
Or to make a shot, you have to make a sentence.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. I haven't thought of that.
Oh, yeah, that's a really cool game. Yeah, I've used it a lot. Yeah, also, and I use it sometimes online even. Yeah, like to break. Does Mike like ice cream? Does well, Anne like ice cream? Does he? Does she? Yeah. So they repeat it so many times. So I finally remember.
Yeah, exactly. There is also a pizza game. Have you heard of it?
No.
I heard of Pizzagate.
It's a I don't know.
This is a
Pizza
huge
game.
conspiracy theory.
Excuse me?
Oh, no, never mind. A conspiracy theory, a big one called Pizzagate. Well, you might Google it afterwards if you're interested.
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate,
A
yeah. So
conspiracy.
gate here is not like a gate like doors. It's another. It has another meaning, like like conspiracy.
So
Okay.
is it about like trading children?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, I see.
Let's come back to more safe topics. Vika, what was that about? Pizza?
It was a pizza game.
Yes.
Let's not trade children.
Yeah.
Yeah, children. So actually, you just draw a circle, and you like divide it like pieces of pizza. Then you write, for example, the same. We write the verbs, for example. Then you use the pencil. What do? You know, roll.
Rotate it, like you send it spinning, I guess.
Yeah, spinning. Yeah, so you spin the pencil, and for example, the pencil goes to, for example, I don't know, cook. So, and you should make a sentence. Also, in every piece of pizza, you get a score. For example, +5, -5, +4, -4. So, really nice game. Children love it.
Sounds like Field of Miracles, this TV show with on the first channel. Or where is it now?
Hangman. By the way, Hangman. I think we all know this game, Hangman.
Yeah.
It's good for beginners.
It's strange how it's still on. I mean, the trends that tend to to make everything benign and safe, but we still use a hangman, like a person being hanged, as an educational source.
Oh, because it's fun.
Well, I didn't want to tell that.
Hanging people is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Penny Ur is a great
Because
author.
because we have this in our nature, we have this impulses, to kill someone, to strangle someone, and so on. So somehow you have to do to what's the word, to and you use this word.
Sublimated.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's a deep point you're saying here. It's yeah, that's true. Like you have to you have to vent it out somehow. About this Hanin thing, one of my students in Africa wrote a homework sentence, and that was, "At the weekend I hand my family," and I was like, "Do you? Well, maybe hang out with your family." Like, yeah, that's better. Another story, I didn't want to tell it, but Kirill, you mentioned that it's not the most. It's a strange thing to play. And in 2016, when I was rolling into this profession, I read an article on busyteacher.org where there was a teacher who said, like, I had a student from some third world country, and after we played this game at our lesson, he approached me and said, "Could we not play this game, because that reminds me of my village, and we do that a lot there, and so, like, can we somehow play something else?" And yeah, that's a valid point. Like, on the other hand, that's everywhere. Like, TV is full of that, and like these machine guns, plastic machine guns, they're still here, and so on and so forth. And you bought a knife to play knife throwing. So it's very interesting how it's happening, how it's still in our culture, and how deep it is, and how many centuries forward it will be here. Because as Oля rightly pointed out, it's still human nature for now, at this generation, at this moment. Kate said, "Kids are mad about this game, not knives. It was about Battleship." And throwing knives, hanging people, teachers' chat is being and living. Yeah, yeah. And I actually suggest that at this bright point we shall wrap up, because that leaves a cliffhanger, and what kind of other mad topics we are about to discuss. Actually, let's have a recap. If you don't mind, I mean, some kind of feedback, like what maybe was the most memorable point you have heard today, and some like just afterthoughts on the meeting, just briefly. And who wants to start?
Well, I can. Time flies, I want to say. I mean, I would love to meet all of you guys again, because yeah, really, it's been almost how much?
3 hours.
Almost 3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Time literally flies, and I feel like we could go at it again, and more, and there are so many topics to discuss. What I felt missing is probably some details, some personal stories, like
Mhm.
specific detailed stories from our careers,
Mhm.
because we kind of gave general information, just not diving into the specifics or some personal stories. So that's something that I would like to look forward to.
Oh, actually, it's a very good idea, I guess. So probably next time we could just specify, be more specific about our topic, and for example, talk about cool stories, about our classes, or like something went wrong, sort of situations. That would be really funny and insightful to listen to, and probably for other people to, listen. So I'm surprised, that time has passed by so quickly. Usually, I'm very apprehensive of such online meetings, because I I'm trying to be savvy about my online presence, because I know that probably I will be judged, by my students or somebody else, But I really felt absolutely comfortable, with you guys, and it's wow, it's really pleasant to have such sort of meetings. Really.
It's mutual. Thank you.
Yeah, what I can say, well, I feel so good now. I feel so energized. And that's a good sign. It means that I've really enjoyed doing this with you. So thank you so much. Yeah, there are so many other things to talk about, to discuss, just getting to know each other. Yeah, and yeah, we could be more specific next time, discuss maybe the books, the courses, yeah, so the classes, everything. Yeah, so.
Thank you, Ola. Vika, what can you say?
Yeah, it was such a warm meeting. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone here. And I really liked I did it. And it was my first experience to be on stream. And yeah, it was nice to overcome some of your fears, right? To be on public, to talk to strange people. I really didn't know you. So, and yeah, it was nice. Thanks. Call anytime. Let's do it again.
So let me then address what you have just said. The first one, personal stories. That was actually what I was intending our meetings to be, like sharing personal stories, cases, and then analyzing them, like, because I sometimes have a situation which I think I can handle, but I'm really curious, are there other options? And it's hard to come up with an example now, but I'm sure you have some situations, maybe even daily, that you just it's happening again, I still haven't solved that case, and like, what can I do? And I think teachers, colleagues, teachers who also think about such things could actually give immense assistance here. So I do encourage you to keep track, starting from tomorrow, of some situations that you don't have a solution for, and just have them next time. I think it's the most helpful thing we can have for each other, and maybe for those who are watching, because yes, there are these theoretical things which are discussed and like have been, will be, and there are personal situations which are just exactly practice oriented, and we probably have to focus on that, or at least give it a decent amount of attention. Then about cool stories and something went wrong cases, that is also a great addition. Here I'm just also quite concerned that I think this profession of a teacher is somewhat close to doctors. Like, we also have to keep some kind of level of professional etiquette, and like, we are on stream and we are recorded, so that means that we have to present such stories in the most neutral light, as a topic of a scientific study somehow. I mean, like, something funny still, but not in a pejorative way, like not to make it look anyhow negative. I mean, I'm sure you understand that, just so that our viewers can also see what our intent here is. We're not here to mock anyone or just to complain about how terrible our life is. It's actually a facilitative attempt, like, to help each other and show what teachers think and how they do it, and what kind of things what kind of challenges they have. Then about being online, I think yeah, you've all dealt really greatly, and we shall talk about that after we finish our stream, just on our Zoom call. But well, not that I have a big audience, that, and it's nice to have this kind of safe transition to, well, public talking. I think you're not exposed to hundreds of thousands of people to be throwing questions at you and criticizing and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to the participants, thanks to the audience, to the chat, and to YouTube, to those who will be watching in the recording. Now I'll be finishing the stream, but we are still on Zoom call, and yeah, so that is the end. Thank you very much. See you in the next episode.
Thanks to our host.
Bye.